I used to create these weekends retreats where I would invite gay folk and Christians to spend 48 hours together at a remote mountain cabin, hoping that they could discover in each other their mutual humanity, common humanity. Well, at one of these weekends, the gay folk were talking about how much easier it is to be gay or queer or different in a small community as opposed to much easier in a large city, because you don't even know the guy in the next apartment, usually in a big city. Okay, now, different story, but same subject. I like to ask immigrants or visitors to the USA what they like about our culture that they would take home, and what about home culture they'd like to bring here to improve our lives. And I find it funny that most of the East Indians say that what they'd like to take back to India is that we obey traffic laws. That would really improve life in India if people obeyed traffic laws. But the most interesting answer I've gotten, and I've asked a lot of people this question, the most interesting answer was a young woman from Puerto Rico who at that time was some kind of manager at Citibank or that other Chase Bank in Chicago. And she said that when she got ready to go to Boston University, her family gathered around her in Puerto Rico and they said, now, you got any problems, you have a cousin right there in Boston who can be with you within 20 minutes. You have a brother in New York City who can be with you in an hour, and we can be with you within 4 hours, or we can bring you home. So whatever you need, we're there for you. And she said, America could really use that kind of social network, support, family support and closeness. But she kept going, and this is where it gets interesting. When she got to Boston University, her roommate was from the Middle West, and her folks set up all of her computer and stereo equipment and made the bed for her and hung up her clothes, and then her dad peeled some bills off, and he said, now, this is all the money that you get until the first of the month. If you need more money, get a job. And we'd really love to hear from you. Please call often, but don't call when you got a problem with your roommate or you got a problem with a professor. Handle it here. Don't call home with every problem that you've got. You're 18 years old. It's time to be an adult. Solve your own problems. And the young Puerto Rican lady said, man, could Puerto Rico use that kind of self-sufficiency, self-reliance. Now, what I'm getting at with these two stories is that with where are we at now, 7 billion people on the planet, our problems are beginning to be global problems. I'm driving my truck right now from the dentist back home, and so I'm sending up greenhouse gases. I love to eat meat, and them boogers out there on the farm are belching and farting methane, and so I make 7 billion of us are making individual choices that are having global impacts, and we need some way of addressing the global problems. The difficulty is that while the stink we make is global in scope, our concerns are becoming much more individualistic and isolated. When I told a young woman from the island of Barbados what the Puerto Rican gal had said, the Barbadian gal said, "Oh God, yes, I had to get off that island. Everybody was in my business constantly. Everybody had an opinion about how I was living my life. I had to get off that island." She had to get to a big city so that she could live an individualistic, isolated life. I don't know what it is in human nature, but I'm pretty sure it is human nature to want that more than we want the close ties that the Puerto Rican woman described about her life at home. Sebastian Junger, in the book War, suggests that one of the difficulties for men surviving PTSD is that we drop them without any kind of backup or into a culture of individualism and isolation, and that's a bad place to try and work out PTSD. So if we have a hope of addressing global problems created by our individual behaviors, we're going to have to start figuring out ways to live communally at a local scale. You can't solve a global problem individualistic. There you have it.